This is Indy, baby, the big go. Let's go.
There's a place I have never been, on the cover of a magazine, alright. Gotta stay till the bitter end, I'm the upshot of fallen trends, alright. Is it time for me? There's no guarantee. I see everybody hazy, no one here to faze me. I'm crowding with myself, stunning visions of the fairies, running through the prairies, lifted by the sun.
Good morning. So I overslept. Church started like 3 minutes ago, so I'm hurrying over there and trying to make it so that we can go partially, for part of it at least.
Take a trip down on easy
Anthony's
street.
working on making ground straps for the funny car and dragster headers, and he's gonna walk you guys through it for my video.
Take this wire, cut a piece of the end off, rub up the copper, then make a little incision, got a little cheat code and just peel it off. Watch come off easy. Oh, there we go. Then there's a little fitting inside here. You stick the copper in. It's in there nice and easy. Then you know it's just right when you can see a little bit of it sticking out right there. Then take some crunchers. And you push the metal brackets in together so it holds in place. Sometimes they get a little stuck, so you have to do it 2 or 3 times. Then do the other side. Same thing. Grab. Just cut it. You get a little metal piece that plugs in to the female end of it. You see copper sticking out once again. Crunch it down once more. It's not coming out.
Want some breath freshener?
Yeah, absolutely.
Then, because this is a heat shrink plastic, all you do is heat it up a bit.
Okay, so you gotta ignite it. I'll leave you to blow yourself up in the trailer.
Push down, holds it on there, and you're good.
So the ground strap goes right down here, connected to the header, right here, if you can see it. And it's just an extra ground to make sure all the electronics and stuff are good to go on this car. Okay, what had happened is when we were warming up the car would not come out of forwards. It would not go into reverse, and that was a problem. We started the car like 4 or 5 times, and it would not go in. So we missed the first session with the funny car, which is unfortunate, but it's kind of part of it. We couldn't send the car up there if it wasn't right. And Steve put a new clutch in the car. We still don't know what was wrong with the old clutch, but it's fixed now. The car was warmed up, and it went into reverse successfully. So in a few minutes, we are going to be headed up to the line with the funny car, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we can qualify.
Put a new clutch pack in every run. This is a new clutch pack going on for the next run.
Speak up.
What happened is there's a gap in here. We run our gap at about 50 thousandths with the feeler gauge. Well, all it takes is some type of foreign material to get inside between those discs, and it makes them actually lock up. It actually go 1 to 1. So we don't know what it was, but something got in there. Nothing came out of the can. Nothing fell on the ground. We're still kind of, we don't know why, but that's obviously something that made the clutch not have neutral at all. Simple as that. Everything else was fine. The reverser, the pressure plate, all that stuff was just fine. But that's all it was.
Going on here?
Yeah, what is going on here, Mr. Cameron?
Taking a breather. What are you doing?
Wondering why you're, playing trapeze artist.
Because I'm agile.
Pastor Billy Roberts, and I'm from Springfield, Missouri, and I'm putting a book together called The Quarter Mile 4-Second Forerunner. And it's a wonderful opportunity to come over here and visit with Terry Haddock, the head of the operation for Haddock Racing. And the experience I had in 2007 when I was in Cheddar's restaurant and I was watching Jag racing on the TV, and I was watching them at nighttime, and I was looking at them as they were drag racing, and the flames coming off on the side of the funny cars and the dragsters. Immediately I had an open vision, and I saw Nahum chapter 2 verse 3 and 4, and that's what I'm here sharing. Nahum is an Old Testament prophet in the Bible, and there's only 3 chapters in the book of Nahum, and chapter 2 is what I was drawn to. It talks about Nineveh, and this is the reason why I have Nineveh Hot Rod Association. This is all about the drag racers in the NHRA, which is the National Hot Rod Association, but we're talking it about from a biblical slant. So what we have here in chapter 2, verse 3, it's very amazing. It says, the chariots shall be with flaming torches. And this is exactly what's on the side of Terry's car is the header. And that is, at nighttime especially, produces a 6 to 8 foot flame. And that's what Nahum is talking about. In the day of his preparation, each day, Terry and his group have to tear down the motor and the car and get it ready for each and every pass. So they are constantly preparing each and every day when they're drag racing. And the fir trees shall be terribly shaken. The fir trees is the Christmas tree. So when Terry and another funny car take off, they literally shake that Christmas tree, because back in 2003, they had to put LED lights in it because it was shaking the other ones. So they had to say, oh my gosh, they kept on replacing all these bulbs because these high performance cars were getting up there and blowing the bulbs, the fluorescent bulbs, and they went to LEDs in 2003. So this scripture, especially in a 4-wide, can you imagine in a 4-wide? That Christmas tree is being terribly shaken. Of course, the 4-wides, I think, came in around 2010. So here we are getting on a more radical basis here. But we have the rest of the scripture says, the chariots shall rage in the streets. In Hebrew, rage means to go very, very fast. I mean, they're violently shaken trying to get down the, which is now the 1,000 feet. It says, they shall jostle one against another in the broadways. The broadways are the left lane and the right lane. And sometimes they cross the right lane over to the left and the left over to the right, and they bump up against each other. Sometimes they have an accident. Sometimes they just bump against each other. And then it says, they shall seem like torches. That's what Nahum's saying. He goes, look, this looks just like a torch. And you can see the 6 or 8 foot torch whenever they're racing, especially at nighttime. The scripture says they shall run like the lightnings. So they're going from 1,000 feet, 0 to 1,000 feet, almost 340 miles an hour. Now here's the kicker. Nahum understood about nitromethane. Nitromethane burns slower. That's why you have the flame effect. Nitromethane, when it's burning inside that engine, produces nitric oxide. Now it's interesting that Nahum uses flaming torches and lightning. When lightning strikes and hits, it creates nitric oxide. So he understood the formula for nitromethane and the resemblance between the flame torch of nitromethane in the motor and lightning as it strikes. Simply amazing prophecy. This happened about 2,400 years ago is when Nahum lived. The word Nahum in Hebrew means to comfort. And this is comforting to the dragon racers, knowing that they're getting in this wild 10,000 horse to 12,000 horsepower vehicle and coming out alive at the end of the track. And so anyway, that's just partial of it. We'll have this on in a book called The Quarter Mile 4-Second Forerunner, and it's going to be free for the whole world to see how God has blessed Terry and his crew and other people that are racing in funny cars and top hill.
Bang their heads on the concrete wall for easy access to diamond holes. Alright.
Now this is Indy, baby, the big go. Let's go.
He's a Muppet. I'm really confused about my camera here. It's kind of just doing whatever it wants. My hand is not on the joystick that controls it, but it's just kind of vibing. Okay, so the funny car ran a 940 60-foot, 240, 330, 336, 660, 265 at the 660, 415 at the 1,000-foot at 307. I love you, Dad. That's disappointing. It's always hard not qualifying. And we worked really hard to get to this point of where it ran. We ran the car 4 solid times, and we would have ran it 5 if we had gotten a chance to run it earlier if the thing with the clutch hadn't happened. But that is a part of racing sometimes, and though it may be disappointing, it's part of it, and we'll just learn from it and keep going, keep moving forward, and we'll be back out here in Reading. At least that's the plan.
Everybody lazy, powerless and crazy, shadows of their past, heading for a mental breakdown. Will we ever get down?
Right now I'm working on pulling a sleeve out of the motor because it's scuffed. Piston needs a perfectly round, smooth surface for the rings to hold everything, and so this piston is scuffed, so it's coming out. There's a couple of pistons here that are scuffed, so we'll just replace them.
Wanted to get her up there while it's going.
You know, when we don't qualify, it is really depressing, for lack of a better word. We come out here and give it our all, and we are incredibly lucky to be doing this. And right now I've gone for a walk and kind of collected my thoughts, and that's something Austin told me to do. When it gets to be too much, just stop, take a few minutes, or you're going to end up not having fun doing it, which is why we're out here, to have fun and earn a living. And it's not fun not qualifying. This is how we earn our living, and this is how we survive. And more than that, it's just we put everything we have into this, and not qualifying is upsetting, especially for Dad, especially for Heather, and it's just disappointing. And the real emotions of it are something that I want to share, because a lot of people look at it on TV, they'll see, they didn't qualify, whatever, it is what it is. And yes, to a certain extent, there is that mindset and that standpoint, because we can't do anything about it now. We gave it our all, but it is still disappointing. most satisfying part of rain delays. At least there's a pretty beautiful landscape today. Just pulled the motor out of the funny car because the crankshaft in it is not bueno. And I'm gonna end the video there. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all those YouTubey things, and never give up.